What's up, y'all?
Hey guys, welcome to Stand on Your Business podcast. I am Natasha Robinson and my co-host today,
Nina Gonzalez. And today we have the one and only Byron Sellers with Mobile Home Elite Investors. So we want Byron to introduce himself.
And we are blessed to have him here today.
Yes. So there's a lot of new things happening in his life. 2023 has been really a Jordan year for you, right? So let's just dive right in and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Yes. So thank y'all. First and foremost, thank y'all even for having me here, right? Definitely a blessing. But my name is Byron. I'm one half of the Mobile Home Elite Investors. My queen, Sharnice, is the other half. And we specialize in all things mobile homes, manufactured homes. And been doing this now going on 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And, kind of got into it by fate. Wanted to get into real estate, but, didn't know too much about. All I knew was I had to go get a mortgage and get it done. And I was very close to getting a property on 79th and Ridgeland. May 2nd, I was supposed to close.
He got the exact date, y'all. May 2nd, so this is a memorable moment.
Yeah, let's tell you, this is the pivot point.
Exactly.
Yeah, May 2nd of 2017, the basement flooded. They didn't want to negotiate. So I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do? I go to work March 3rd, 2017. I was fired. So that's what I'm like, okay.
So you had a flooded basement and got fired?
Yes.
Wait, so that's, wow.
So, for me, I'm thinking like, okay, well, how am I going to get a mortgage if I don't get a job? Right. And, I'm thinking like, how am I going to find another property in time? So by that time, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on myself. I've been doing a lot of personal development, reading self-help books. All right, I think it's time for me to, really take this seriously. I got the time. And it was hard, right? It was hard. I tried a lot of stuff. I was, at the time, I had to end up driving Lyft. I had $17,000 saved up. I spent $12,000 on the coaching program and the other on another weekend program just to get my mind right before I got my money right.
Wow, wait a minute.
I'm going to let you go ahead and run with that because I know what I heard and I know what you heard. But come on,
$12,000 on a coaching program?
Yes.
Talk about investing in you.
Yes.
Wow. So I'm speechless on that. I don't have much to say. But then it converted into this.
Yes, it converted. And at that time, it didn't feel like it, right?
Was it a coaching program specifically for mobile homes? Was it just entrepreneurship?
No, it was a
Find yourself?
It was a life coaching program. So
wow.
At first, I remember I saw this in the podcast, and I heard a guy named Willie Collins. He said he had a life coach that changed his life. So I'm like, maybe I need one of them. But then I think
I need one of them.
Sign me up.
So I go to the program, but now it's to become a life coach. So before I even got into this, y'all, I wanted to be a life coach. I'm like, I want to help people, right? So
got it.
I'm in this program, and again, it helped a lot, but I won't get no clients. Getting no clients, right? Because think about it, I ain't got no job, right? I ain't got no job. I ain't got no income coming in. I'm telling them, hey, Nina, come on, I can help you with your life and coach you in your life.
But I don't have no exposure, right? But I got a life coach.
Right? So it's kind of like, somebody looking at me like, okay, bro, like what you got to show for what you trying to do. And so make a long story short, things got real tough. I taught myself a lot during that time, like how to edit and, great graphics and all these good things. And I had to drive Lyft to start making money. And while I was driving Lyft, I used to always listen to podcasts, and I listened to a Bigger Pockets podcast. Ooh. And this lady talked about mobile homes and how she was buying mobile homes for like $5,000, $4,000. I'm like, wait, what?
You like $17,000? I got $5,000 left.
Right, you're right. I'm like, wow. Man, like I think, like, hold on. So I sent it to at the time, it was boyfriend and girlfriend, right? So I sent it to Sharnice, and I'm like, hey, check this out. When I got home, y'all, she was excited. Like, listen, I know you want to do real estate because the funny thing, shout out my boy Dre who just walked in.
Yeah.
We went to NACA meetings, right? Because I'm like, we at least gonna do NACA or something, right? We gonna figure this out, right? But she was like, I know you want to do it, but I think we can do mobile homes. And when I saw that she was excited about it, I'm like, uh-oh.
That's confirmation.
Yeah, I'm like, I think we can do this together. And that's how we stumbled upon it. We just kind of started diving in. It wasn't a lot of stuff on YouTube and things like that. It was a few. And man, we hit the ground running, y'all. Like we started, calling mobile home parks. We got on the road, was visiting mobile home parks. And y'all know we in Chicago.
Yeah.
Ain't no mobile home parks in Chicago. It's one.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. We need more of them.
So, we going to Kankakee, we going to Morris, we going to Rockford, we going to Indiana, Gary. Like we really learning and on the fly. And we literally, I would say 45 days later, we ended up purchasing 2 mobile homes for $4,300.
Wow.
Right. And, that was good. We ended up It took us another 45 days. We ended up putting $3,000 into one of them. We had some friends of the family that helped. And what I loved about them, I just had to pay him in Magnum beers. Right?
That ain't nothing like Uncle Tyrone.
Right?
No Heineken, but go ahead.
That's all he wanted was some beer, you know what I'm saying? So, and then we ended up selling that house, that first house that we renovated, we ended up selling that one for $10,000. And then we ended up selling the other one for $9,500. So we had made $19,500 in 45 days.
So you flipped it. You didn't get a tenant in there.
We flipped it.
You flipped it.
That was going to be my question.
Mm-hmm.
And then who is the buyer for the people that are flipping? Like, is it just the market for people that want to buy mobile homes for that price? Because I can imagine how much things cost, and that got to be a good way to save for your family.
Yeah. So the first home, it was a guy. He had to be like 45, but he still lived at home with mama. And his mom gave him half, and he paid the half, and it was just like he was happy to have his own place.
Wow.
Right. The other one was a couple. They just had a baby, and same thing. I think they were living with their grandparents, and it was a great starter home. For them only paying $9,500. So really, like you said, who is really for people, I say the biggest client we have is either single women, either divorcees, especially in Illinois, or it'll be like someone who is younger, their first time place.
Mm. So what is it like? What is it like for a Black couple to walk onto a trailer park, to purchase a home and be that investor? Like, what is that world? Because we all have our rumors, right, of what we hear. Yeah. Trailer park. I'm not gonna say what they say behind that word, but like, what is that like? Because trailer parks was talked down on so many levels.
Well, thankfully, due to him, that whole concept has been erased from my mind from the years of being exposed to him.
Exactly.
Right?
But what was it like as a Black man and a Black couple walking onto that trailer park as, hey, I want to buy this? Like, how was that perceived? What is that like? And what kind of feedback do you get for that?
Yeah, so I joke around, tell people when we first started, I had like little Chief Keef locks. Like I had just started growing my hair. So, at first, I ain't gonna lie, I thought my perception was people were not gonna accept me. But I was completely wrong though. Like honestly, like nobody really judged us. We never really got dirty looks or anything like that. I think the fact we learned was mobile home parks are tight-knit communities. So they thankful for you even coming in there because everybody on the outside world got this perception of trailer this, you know what I'm saying? Y'all lower income, everything. So for somebody to be in there and then for somebody to be showing love and trying to buy, it's like, what's up? Right?
It's a new beginning of our industry.
Facts. Right.
Yeah.
And we just dressed the way we dress, right? We didn't come in there with, no button ups and nothing like that. Yeah. It was just
like coming in like, hey, I
had on mics, you know what I mean? I had on sweatsuits and it was just like it was comfortable. And we talked their language. We didn't talk professional. It wasn't like, hi, sir. It was just, we met them where they were at, and I think they really embraced it. And we were just surprised. Like we thought at the beginning, like we was preparing ourselves for racism. And I mean, real quick, funny story. I remember going to see a house, and when I got outside, it was a big old Confederate flag. And I had took one of my first mentee. And he like, bro, you want to go in here? I'm like, look, bro, money green. If we got problems, we got problems. You know what I'm saying? But all right, we're going to see what it is. So I remember going to the door. He opened the door. He looked at me. I'm like, hey, you know what? We talked on Facebook. I'm Byron. He's like, okay. And, he's like, all right, cool. Come. And when we came in, his whole family, it was weird, though. It was like 5 of them in there. And they didn't even speak. They was just all focused on TV. Like we wasn't in there. And I'm just like, okay. So we, walking around.
You're like, this is different.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So we walking around and, things. I'm asking questions, but I always learn to highlight the things in their house that's featured. Like, oh, man, I like how you did the paint over there. You know what I'm saying? I like, oh, what you do to these floors? And after that, he was comfortable. I'm talking about Confederate flags all through the house. After that conversation of me just being up, you know what I'm saying, just kind of just embracing him and things, he was, man, Byron, so what you think? I know I'm asking for $6,000, but let me know what you think. And I
was just gonna ask you. So are you?
Right.
Are they asking for 6 and you getting it for 4? What is the negotiation like that with this flag and all of these people watching TV? How does that go?
So I definitely offered them 4. I actually had 4 cash on me. So
and they wanted 6.
They wanted 6. But a lot of times, the biggest thing I always ask, why are you selling? That's the major thing. What's the motivation? Why are you selling? What's going on? And sure enough, they had bought a bigger mobile home not too far, like a few parks away. And he was just like, I'm tired. I don't want to pay lot rent no more. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you want to do 4? And so we locked it in. And that actually ended up giving my mentee that home. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But it was just like, and that changed my perception as well. Because I'm like, you know what? That's his belief system. Right. And what I did was I broke his, because it didn't, like I said, I still had locks at the time. And so he probably thought what he saw on TV, right, was going to be how I was going to be. But then that changed his mindset. And even me, I'm like, okay, I thought he was going to be ultra racist and everything like that. But that's just his belief. And I'm like, you know what? As long as you ain't disrespectful, we cool, right? You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. That's on you.
As long as you come with a clear lead, which goes back to my next question. If you have $4,000 cash, I'm a loan officer, Nina's a loan officer. So when we doing things, you can't just come in there with a pocket of cash. You got to go through a title company. So how does that process work of purchasing a mobile home from a seller like that? Is it like a car?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So a mobile home inside of a park is exactly like a car, right? Title, they need the tax certification that's showing up the taxes is paid off, and then we can actually exchange money and then go to the Secretary of State and and get the title transferred. So do
you take them with you like same time? I got my money, you come into the Secretary of State with me?
So normally when I buy, they trust me to go do it, right? And so normally what I do, if I have a buyer, when I'm selling it, then that's when I take them straight to it, because you, unfortunately, you learn just by your mistakes, but we had a buyer that we gave the title to, and next a year later, we get the tax bill. Because they never transferred it over.
Gotcha. Oh, interesting. What do taxes look like?
Oh man. So taxes.
Come on through, because my taxes was about $11,000 this month.
No, this year. Listen, and how often are they taxed? Is it annually, biannually?
So it's annually, right? So taxes when taxes on mobile homes inside of mobile home communities, they aren't taxed as personal property. I mean, they're not taxed as property. They're taxed as personal property chattel. So, for example, I'll give you, I've never paid, in Illinois, I've never paid over $200 for a year in taxes.
Okay. Wow.
On per property.
So what you're trying to tell me is that right now we have a shortage on jobs. People are not getting enough pay. And you can actually change your perspective, get you a nice luxury mobile home.
Yes.
For cash.
Yes.
And rebrand. I mean, that takes me down to the specifics
That's
of that.
That's like less than $500 a month. That's like $50 a month if you had the cash.
And how much is the lot rent on these?
So it varies, right? So lot rent, the closer it is to the inner city, the higher it's going to be, right? Okay. So anything that's close to Chicago, you're looking at anywhere from $650 a month and up, right? So you in range around us, $650 to, on the high end, I think I saw in Chicago, it's like $850 a month, right? Okay. The further you go out, you're looking at anywhere from $250 to $500 a month.
And what does that include?
So good question. So normally what lot rent includes is, it depends. So for example, let's say I had a park that has amenities. Some of them have pools, some of them have like gazebos, barbecue pits. And then normally what it also includes is their water is included. And then for example, streets, snow removal on the streets.
And they getting hot water into the...
Yeah, they getting hot water.
So they don't have no ComEd, no People's Gas from my Cook County people, or do they still have that?
So they still have that. Okay. They do. So every unit, so what we call pads or sites, every pad has a electrical outlet, and some have gas, some are all electric. You have electrical, and then you have gas, and you have the water. So whenever, for example, they move or manufacture home onto that's when they can connect. And, that goes into the sewer and everything like that. So they will, whoever's the gas company, whoever is the electric company, they will pay that. Now, what I will say is, mobile homes are around the same price for utilities as single family homes as they run. As much as
same square feet.
Yeah, same square feet.
But they're often smaller.
They're often smaller. But for example, you got to think about this. It's an aluminum home. So in the summertime, to cool that boy off, you gotta keep that
more money.
AC. Yeah, you're gonna spend more money.
Now, in the summer. There was recently a big scandal in Cook County. There was a park that they hadn't paid their water bill. So everything was going to get cut off.
Yes. Like every mobile home.
Every mobile home was all the water's
after
getting shut off.
After they paid their rent.
After they're paying, and these people are faithfully paying their rent. So now they're advocating for the village to do something about it because they have been paying their rent. Yeah. Have you encountered any bad administrators with parks?
Oh yeah. You get some shady characters. It was a mobile.
I like that. I'm gonna use that again.
But that's the nice way to say it,
right?
But it was a park in Mishawaka, Indiana, which is like right next to South Bend, and they had just been brought out. But what happened was we found out that the owners right before that same situation, they did not pay the water bill, and everybody's water was cut off. Right. And so what the new owners came in and did, which I learned, what you do is whenever you own a mobile home park, what you want to do is you want to individually put every utility in every tenant's name, right? And
Yourself.
the water, right? So that way now it's not on you as the owner.
You need to do that in your
that.
single family home.
Yeah.
And your two flats too.
No, that makes so much sense. So now you're talking about the whole investment, because that's where you started off on the individual lots,
Yes,
right? Or sites, parcels. Now you're looking at taking over actual parks.
Yes.
What now if there's a lien owed, do the municipality allow you to set up everybody as individual utility?
So in that case, no, right? It has until that's paid off. That's the only way that you can do it. So what you would most likely do if you're going to take over, then just within negotiations, whatever that bill is, we need to cut that in half so we can take care of that for the tenants.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, how many units are you guys moving in? Like, what does that look like on your portfolio today?
Yeah. So currently, right now, we have right over 275 units total. We're in a partner group with a group outside of Pittsburgh. So we have 4 parks in the Pittsburgh area. And then we have one park, it's a small town called Nitro, West Virginia.
275.
And then starting off on a $9,000 investment.
Exactly. And that's you being the landlord. These are not properties that you want to flip. These are properties that they come in and are these single tenants, or do people come in and say, hey, I want to have my family reunion here and we want to rent them temporarily?
No, so all of them are single residents. All of our parks, I would say actually about last time I checked, 82% are they own their units and they're just paying the lot fee per month. And then the rest, we have rentals. But my partner, our groups, we try to convert all of the rentals into actual owners, right, into the units. So, because that way, again, you just have less responsibility, you have less maintenance, and if they own their own mobile home,
so you rather them own and just pay you the $650 or whatever the rent is for the campground or the RV ground.
Yep, correct.
Got you. And then when you're out looking at these properties, what is the nationality of the average seller of a mobile park home? Yeah,
so majority, especially for Southern, you go is white. The major thing I would say is a mixture of Hispanic and white, and then every now and then near metros you're gonna have more Black people.
Okay, now this is the Stand on Your Business podcast,
right?
And I'm gonna tell you, like somebody like me, somebody like Natasha, we're not standing on these kind of opportunities. And it's because we get so focused on what we know and get out. We don't want to get outside of our comfort level, even though there is this, I know this industry needs better landlords. I know they need more ethical flippers, right? So where do we even get started?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, with you all, I think the beautiful thing about, being lenders, right? The piece that a lot of people overlook, because we hear about mobile home parks and there's so much focus on mobile home parks, but anytime a manufactured home is quote unquote affixed to land, right? And now it comes with the land, then it's considered, right? It's not a single family home, but a lot of times more lenders will lend to those homes, right? And so, for example, I know we're going to talk about it, but we're moving to Florida. And the main reasons why, because down there, we're talking mobile homes are with the land are going for $150,000, $250,000, $250,000, $300,000.
Better spread on the flip.
And up, right?
And he snuck that in because y'all know this is farewell today. So he's actually going to be relocating from Chicago. And, once again, he was exposed to opportunity. So that's what he's talking about when he says that there's more value.
And why Florida?
Yeah, so it's the 3rd largest market for mobile homes. Texas being the 1st largest, then California the 2nd. Personally, I wouldn't want to move to California because of taxes. Texas is cool, but Florida, I mean, we by the water, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different vibe. So Florida was somewhere that, we wanted to move. And then once we started really observing the market, and we had some students down there that when I tell you they spreads, I'm talking, nothing less than $75K on flips. And
let's talk about these students.
The student.
Right, let's talk about these students. The teacher. Because he actually has a course. So we would love for you to tell us about the course. And guys, once we talk about, we know there's a million people with courses, but this is the Stand on Your Business podcast, and we screen our people because we want to make sure that we're bringing people that's going to be, ethical and let you know the real deal on how to get business and want to see you grow. So tell us a little bit about, how you teach clients and, you know, some success stories and how they can get started.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, now I think we've been doing this teaching probably about 6 years. And so my latest course is called our Mobile Home Elite Institute. And what I did was I compiled 7 courses. And so from starting out from beginners, how to start inside of a mobile home park, on how to acquire land and put your mobile home on it, as far as wholesaling mobile homes on land, buying mobile home parks, wholesaling mobile home parks. We put it all together in basically 7 different curriculums. We make sure we always have community. And we haven't did coaching this year because we had, you know, again, we had a addition of our baby, but
new baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
3 months.
Yes. And so, but again, you know, the digital aspect, but, you know, we've been blessed to even, you know, coach, when I talk about, like, you know, we've had last time we checked, over 50 6-figure earners. We had some earners that hit the $1 million mark as well in mobile homes.
Wow.
And all South though, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, and we got one in Cali that's killing. But yeah, man, it's dope to see what they've been able to do, change. And at the end of the day, for me, it's about them changing people's lives and providing affordable housing. They get paid to do it.
Yes. And how do they find your information in your course if they wanted to?
So they can go to mobilehomeeliteinstitute.com. You know, from there we got so much. I tell you, we got so much free stuff though, like, you know, like YouTube. You know, YouTube.
Your YouTube and Instagram, I see you every morning. It's like, hey, I got my regular people I see every morning, and it's pretty dope because you're always dropping those gems.
Appreciate it.
I have a question though, because I don't know if everybody in the audience is thinking about it. What happens with the bathrooms? So. How are we using the bathroom in the mobile home on the mobile home park? Are we connected to a plumbing line? Do we have direct plumbing? Is it like an RV where this getting pumped out? Like, what is the bathroom toilet situation for those that are doing the mobile home?
So the cool thing is, like, when you go in, it's a regular bathroom, right? But everything is above. All of the pipes are above ground. So that's why if you see mobile homes, it's called skirting. So around you may see like this white piece. A lot of times, most mobile homes are probably elevated anywhere from like 2 feet up. Right. And so under there, that's where all of the pipes are running. And it's just one connection to the sewer that all of that is coming. So it's a
we
water
are going
line
down to a sewer.
Yep. It's going to a sewer.
I was helping y'all out. Yep. If y'all didn't ask that question, it's important because what we learned today is that we're transitioning, right? And this is the Stand on Your Business podcast. So sometimes you got to take a few steps backwards to take 80 steps forward.
Speed up in this situation. Slow down to speed up.
Exactly. So in this particular situation, you actually can go buy a mobile home for whatever the cost is, pay your monthly rent, and then build yourself back up. So that way you don't have to live check to check, settle for that job that you could have been promoted if you weren't so worried you were going to lose your job for asking for the raise. And this is just an opportunity for you that you can use if you can't afford, because the housing market is extremely high. And it gave us the perspective to say, hey, now we have regular people out here buying mobile homes, and it's just not kind of what we thought it was before we had this conversation.
When you think about what affordable housing is rent between $700 to $900 a month in most metropolitan areas. But when you talk about ownership, it becomes a whole different situation. Exactly. Now you could sell that mobile home, and maybe you might not even sell it. Maybe you could just rent it. Right. Yeah. So what do rentals go for on mobile homes? Yeah. So normally most rentals are anywhere from, like, on a low end, you know, $100 to anywhere from like $300 less than market rent. Okay. So whatever the market rent is, they're always going to be less. Now, one gem I want to throw in for y'all community is, especially for y'all investors, right? If you're a person that you like flipping single family homes, you need to look into mobile homes, because mobile homes since 2018, now you can get Section 8. Wow. Yeah. So, you know, with that being said, you can get Section 8. And so now, you know, you can go ahead and collect that check, you know, every month that you get those vouchers. Wait, so Section 8 is allowed? Section 8 is allowed. And the reason.
And Section 8 just increased.
Yes. I know.
Drastically.
Yes.
So you can go in there and actually rent out to Section 8 applicants.
Yes.
Now, the Section 8 approval by inspectors, that's a horrible process to begin with, right?
So what is that process?
What does that process look like?
So the cool thing, most people don't know, when mobile homes are made, it cannot leave the factory unless it's HUD inspected.
Ooh, that's right. You know what? Because
that's crazy.
They have a plate. Installed. And if you know, that happened to me a long time ago. It was a double wide, and somebody drywalled over the plate. So for the appraisal, they had to open up a square to get that plate.
Yep,
with that HUD inspection. Okay.
What's the difference between a mobile home and these tiny homes? I keep hearing about these tiny homes.
Yeah. So a mobile home and it's funny, like a quote unquote manufactured home, right? They're normally larger in square feet, right? You're gonna have those made. Nowadays they start them off at 2 bedrooms. They used to make like 1 bedrooms. They don't really make those anymore. So what I've been noticing is people would take 1 bedroom mobile homes that are made and now call it a tiny home.
Gotcha. A lot of making it even more affordable because they selling them at Home Depot. Like you can finance that over 18 months, no interest.
$40K sometimes, like for these. They really they like sheds, to be honest. They honestly is just like renovated sheds.
They don't, and a mobile home is not. So it is a difference because sometimes we only kind of guess what we hear, and I think people when they hear this podcast, they can be like, "Well, that's just a tiny home." Yeah. No, it's a mobile home. And that's a little different.
Now you mentioned something that it's a movement that's happening here in regards to manufactured housing. So the government is giving the administration, current administration is giving incentives to developers to create new housing. And a lot of developers are saying, I'm going the manufactured route because I don't have to create from scratch. Is that something that, you're taking advantage of?
Yes, for sure. I mean, because you got to think about it, like you have certain manufacturers that can crank it. Like, for example, Clayton Homes, right? That's one of Warren Buffett companies. They can crank out 17 homes a day.
Wow.
All right, 17 homes a day. So when you look at that, like a mobile home, the difference is, and it's a pro and con of that, right?
Yeah.
The pro is we can get production. We inside, right? We don't have to worry about rain. It's the show don't stop. We can get this house done, and I think let's say some manufacturers on a slow end may take a week to make a home, right? But the con is if I'm a contractor or if I'm a person that this is how I make my living by building houses, right? Now this affects me.
Okay.
Right? Because the more and more they do this, then it's like, okay, where do I fit in, right? And I don't get me wrong, I think people are still going to get houses built from the ground up. But like you said, as they push this, more and more
actual tradesmen
can kind of, job may be at stake because now even, they use with technology,
they're trying to automate everything.
Yeah, we just don't have enough housing. So I think this is like totally right on time. And then I challenge you guys. I know you're moving to Florida, and it's not that many mobile parks in the Chicagoland area. I would say like an hour and a half from here. But is there opportunity to, go and create these parks, or is it our weather that constrains us from being able to have that opportunity?
No, so it's still opportunity. What mobile homes is, it's all about the wind zone. So it's funny because mobile homes that are made in Florida cannot be here, right? It's because of the wind zone. I mean, so it's 3 levels: it's zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Gotcha. And so with those zones, right? So a mobile home here is heavily insulated. It's made for the winter, right?
Your stuff. Right? Look, we didn't even do no pre-question.
This is really technical.
So the biggest thing is really it's all about the zoning of the land. Right. So if they're Cook County, I ain't gonna lie, they not really, they kind of changing their tune, but they really weren't rocking with manufactured homes for
They're
a long
not.
time.
I don't think so. And I think they put a lot of barriers to entry because of the infrastructure they have to create for you guys. Like they'll make you guys go through hoops. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard to get a permit for a new water line on one property.
So imagine manufacturing.
And how many parcels are in an average home mobile park?
So I would say the average I see is about anywhere from 30 to 50. A larger community, when you start seeing like 80 plus. You have, for example, like the first community we did business, they had 650 units, and that's what made us want to get interested in mobile homes. Cause we was like, hold on, the lot rent is $575.
This many
times. What do you mean y'all making $350 a month? Like, right. Oh yeah, this is the business we want to get in.
Y'all heard that? He got some secret private gyms if you can't find any real estate.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we're sitting here on the sideline, being part of your circle, never taking part of these kind of opportunities.
We supposed to own 10 mobile homes right now. We got to stand on our business.
I know. I know. I mean, really, that's what it boils down to. Like anyway.
But I want to take it back a little bit. Yes. So we talked about everything. I want to go back to, when you invested that $17,000 and then you took $12,000, talk about an investment on a coach. Yeah. And I was able to hang out with you at InvestFest. Yeah. And, you know, I became a huge fan of you and your wife's because I'm all about, you know, those stories, right? Like the intimate things that people really don't know. And you know, we took a ride to the airport together because we was all on the same flight, you know, and then you kind of disclosed, you know, how you got started. And I think people don't understand how much work that a person puts into their career. And I think from our conversation, and I didn't expand on it because it was a short ride, but I know I kind of asked like, you know, how you were doing and how everything was. And you were telling me about the getting started point. So tell us a little bit about paying that $12,000, working hard on Instagram every day, you know, maybe not being financially compensated for your time. And we can see your passion, you know. So what was that like? And when did you guys, how long did it take for you guys to finally like really see money from all the work that you've been putting in?
Yeah. So, you know, for me, it was a lot of L's. Like it was a lot of L's, you know, like before, you know, during that time from March 3rd,
he know exact date, y'all. Come on, wait, March. I don't want to cut you off. March 3rd.
Yeah, March 3rd, 2017. I would say all the way up to like December 15th. Like literally credit drop, car repo. Parents thought I was crazy. I had like 2 interventions. Like why you got a degree, right? Wow. You got a degree. You ain't you don't got a job. Like why is you doing this to yourself?
You know how we caught him intervention on our kids.
Right. I'm talking about like people don't know. Like man, I'm talking about aid office, link card. I got all this, right? Because I'm like, I got to survive. But it was just the fact that was the thing with coaching helped me, which is like, listen, like you're going to go through a lot, but you have to continue. And the one thing for me was I didn't fall in my story. I didn't become victimized in my story. Like, oh, all this bad stuff is happening to me, right? So this is who I am. It was like, no, I saw the goal. Like, no, it's a way larger picture. I know that something's going. As long as I keep up this momentum, something is going to pop. So it was like the minute I stop, ain't nothing.
You never stop.
Yeah,
it's like when they're digging. When they're digging for diamonds, and that diamond is right there, and he gives up.
Facts. And so, you know, once my wife was on board, right? And again, people don't even know, like, we did all this before we was even boyfriend and girlfriend.
Wow.
Like, we was talking.
Wow. He said mobile homes, and we got to keep talking. This might be getting serious.
We was talking.
She talking my language.
She said no, because it was interesting that you said by the time you got home, she had already been doing all her research.
She was, and again, before that, she had been fired, right? And you know what I'm saying? For her, it was like entrepreneurship, like she thought I was crazy when she first met me because she was like, what you mean you gonna real estate? Like, you know, like, so I changed her perspective. But like at that time, she saw how hard I was grinding. It was like, okay, maybe if I get in the trenches with them, maybe we can get something done. Wow. And so
that's so different when you have a support team.
Oh man, it was a bonus. So once we started doing things together, that's when I feel like things started to speed up. We started identifying our roles. We started doing things. We stayed on the phone. We called each day. We made a list. We called 50 mobile home parks a day.
Wow,
like that was
Team
the goal,
up.
Right? And that's why we got our deal so fast because it was like to rewind. She called so many parks that the vice president of the 5th largest mobile home park that owned the most, he called like, Sharnice, like, what you know, Peter, what's up? And she told him, he's like, oh, okay, well, if y'all ever in Denver, give me a stop by the office. We took our last and booked the trip to Denver. Like,
I know that's right.
Say less.
I know that's right.
He looked at us, white guy. He looked at us. He said, "Listen." When we sat down with him, he said, and that's what really sparked. He said, "Listen." He said, "Not a lot of people, don't, no offense, that look like you do this." Mm-hmm. He said, "So if you like quadrupling y'all money, stay in this business."
Wow.
And we was like, "Say less."
All right.
Say less. And we were sold. And that's how, again, we came home and like the real estate money started to come in. Now that was able to help our living situation. And once I got about 10 deals, I started hosting webinars. Cause I was like, cause everybody would ask us like, how you ain't been able to go back to work? What you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing these mobile homes. So now it's like mobile homes. Exactly. Like, and I'm like, man, so like, tell me more. So that's what made me start putting like material together for it. Cause I'm like, okay, if I start to share this material with people, right? And I start sharing, now they're going to probably be, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't never think about no course or nothing like that.
Right.
And then I'll start, people reach out to me like, man, teach me. And so everything that I start teaching them, I start outlining. And then one day I was like, man, I'm tired of all these phone calls. I'm tired of doing all this. How can I put this together? And we put together a webinar. We ran a webinar. People don't realize we ran a webinar from November of 2018 all the way for literally to 2020 every single Wednesday.
And they had always had an audience.
Yeah, and it went from first family and friends to, again, after that EYL episode, I think our cap on Zoom was 500 booked out.
So tell us what happened. Tell us what happened like before you became exposed. So EYL put you on, was it
Earn Your
podcast?
Leisure. Yeah.
Earn Your Leisure. So we start getting a little bit exposure. The first person to really discover, shout out my guy Pocky at Hood Estates. Hood Estates had a big following at that time.
Yeah.
And he put us on our page, and it was a page called Blacker Pockets as well.
Okay.
Ty
Billion.
Ty Billion, right?
Love that guy.
They had a page as well, and they put us on that. So then that started bringing in followers, right? And then we started getting some of Jay Morrison's followers at that time, and it was just like, okay, there's something different. And then different people started catching wind. Like, man, I see this black couple doing mobile homes. And the Downing brothers, EYL was coming here, and he was like, man, I think you need to come to this, man. We want to introduce you. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like
exposure.
Yeah, like that's cool. We go to the event, and I meet them. You know, it's cool. You know, I'm not thinking none of it. The next day, they were both doing podcasts, interviewing each other. That same day, I had just bought a double wide for $500 in Sauk Village.
What?
$500. How many of y'all got $500 in the bank account right now?
Line it up.
And did you buy that to rent? Did you buy that to flip?
I bought it to flip.
Okay.
I bought it to flip, and then I'm talking, and then Matt MG, the mortgage guy, was in there, and I was telling him, he's like, what? He was like, man, I want to learn more too. And then they had got done, so Rashad was just like, he's like, what you do, bro? And I told him, and I was like, yeah, let me show you. And I was like, I just bought this today for $500. Both of them grabbed the phone, like, hold on. So now the question is coming.
Right.
Of course, I'm answering. So he's like, man, all right, bro, take my number down. I definitely want to talk to you. That night, he hit me up like, yo, like, man, we want to interview you. I'm like, bet, say less. Like, when you want to do it? He's like, tomorrow. Let me tell you something funny.
One day notice.
Go ahead.
My wife at the time, we was living on 57th Indiana. My wife was like, okay, well, I got to go to my friend's birthday tomorrow. I'm like, okay, but you saw what they just did. They bought the city out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got a follow.
Friend birthday can't make it.
She like,
sorry.
She like, I don't care who they is. I'm like, so I hit him like, bro, can you do 10 a.m.? He's like, all right, say less. They came to the crib. So our episode, they came to our crib. And it's funny because, like I said, I was on 57th Indiana at that time. Michigan, they was at war. All I know is I hit them outside talking. I look outside, they probably about $7,000 worth of equipment. I'm like, no, y'all gotta come inside. Hurry up.
Y'all don't know where you're at.
Yeah, right. I don't think y'all know. And then from there, we just made a classic episode. And yeah, it was. They call it the EYL effect. Like, it was literally from there, our following just shot up. I mean, we was getting invited everywhere. Now podcast this. Everywhere we go, like now I'm in Saks. Hey, bro, I saw you on EYL. And it's just like, wow, you know what I'm saying?
They have a huge following.
They do.
It's crazy, a cult-like following.
But it's so heartwarming that, you guys took it and ran with it. Because somebody, you can get the ball, fumble it.
Yeah, that's
right? True. But just to go back to your impact, we had an event, I want to say it was a year ago. Mm-hmm. And one of my little cousins, 24 years old, she'd been following you guys. Wow. And that's her dream, to get herself on her feet so she can follow your story, right? Mm-hmm. So she's been following. When I said that I'm going to go to an event and you guys were going to be there, she's like, I'm going with you. You know them. Please introduce me. Can you introduce me to her? Like, it was so impactful. And I'm like, wow, the impact.
Man,
and then when she walked away, she was just so like, man, Nina, they are so humble. They are so real. This is like, this legitimately could happen. Yeah. So if you're talking to that 25-year-old, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't know where to locate, maybe we can go on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. But how about if they don't run into the $500 deal and let's say they don't have $4,000? Yeah. Is there any kind of like financing available for people as such?
Yeah, so there is financing. There's a company called Triad Financial. They'll finance as low as $11,000, right? Wow. But I like telling people, so if you brand new to this and you got no money, I'll say you need gas money and you need a phone bill. You need to pay for phone bill. You can wholesale mobile homes, and what that looks like. The reason why I tell you people can wholesale, because here's one thing, it's a loophole in Illinois, right? Remember? It was like no more wholesalers.
One year. Right. I was just about to ask. Yeah. That was my next question.
That's different. I think this is different. No,
but, right, it didn't say that you can't wholesale motor vehicles. And that's what a mobile home is inside of a mobile home park. It's considered a motor vehicle.
Wow. Loophole.
Right? So what you can do is you can just contact. I tell people the first thing you want to do is build your buyers list. So there's websites like propwire.com, right? That's a free, just like PropStream, but it's free. right? Propwire.com. You can go on there. You can go ahead and you can filter it to cash buyers. Do the area that you want to. And I would tell you do cash buyers for single family homes and mobile homes on there. Now, what you want to do is take that information, right? You can skip trace it, or you can send mailers if you don't have the money to skip trace yet, but like 10 cents a skip trace if you skip trace them, and start to call those cash buyers and just ask them like, hey, listen, are you looking for more properties? I see you bought this property, because you can see their portfolio on there. And if you build, you get literally like at least one to four people that's saying, I'm looking for this. And what you can do is you can now tell them, listen, I can find you a property, right? Not like a single family, but I can get you something that's cheaper, and I can get you the same amount of rent if we go with this mobile home. So now what you can do is you can still go on PropWire, find vacant mobile homes with the land, which is going to be cheaper than a single family home. And now you can sell them those, which is going to be cheaper, and make money. So now you're talking about anywhere from 10K to, 15K, because now what you pretty much found your buyer. You go get that deal under contract.
So you find out what the buyer wants, go find it for them, and you get it for $1,000. You sell it for them for $5,000, and you just take your $4,000, and you never have to invest any cash or loan. Y'all heard that? Harmony in Weston. We call this here a little 2020. Amen. That is crazy.
No, but and Natasha and I may lose some clients over this, right?
I'm sorry.
No, no, I don't mind. We here to empower people.
I had 189 people looking for houses and couldn't find them.
Nothing.
So they need to have opportunities like this.
They need to have this, because I feel like if you take back if my perception of mobile home parks has changed, that can happen to anyone, right?
Yeah, sure.
So these starter homes, they can be the mobile home park. Let's save our income tax refund.
Yes, it's coming up.
And it is coming up.
45 days.
Let's save our income tax refund. Let's get ourselves into a nice place. Use that as a starter home. Then think about investment or flipping. But most of all, get yourself stable enough so you have the brain power, creativity to even start about making other money or even saving money. Yeah. Because I think housing is one of the most expensive, right? And it's going to
It was until we met Byron. Because now you can get affordable housing and you can come and go back a little bit. Put all your pieces together, save up, and look, I'm shaking the mic, y'all. I'm excited. You can save up and get to your next level by taking those few steps backwards.
And the people, how about the people who own property already? And they're stuck on that one single family.
And they want to be investors. They don't have 25% to put down.
They don't have 25% to put down. How about we get a line of credit and we set up, you go to his course, and you set up with all those resources. By the end of the year, you can own 5
I like
properties.
Look, I learned a lot of things today. I don't know what you guys, but we are learning together through the Stand On Your Business podcast. And I'm definitely going to add a few mobile homes. I already told Byron I want a whole park, as my retirement. So I'm sorry, husband, but that's going to be my last stop. But definitely, I think it's a great opportunity. And hopefully we inspire someone to find another way to build generational wealth and residual income through mobile home ownership, and listening to his story, taking his last $12,000 to invest in himself, to do something nobody else was doing, followed his own vision, found his own support system to help him get to the finish line. And I think those are the nuggets that I got here today.
No, I did. And then he had the opportunity to have somebody sit down and say, this is the map. Just follow the steps, and he went ahead and did it. Yeah. So also, if you're out there and you have somebody that you can mentor, that you can put on, take the chance and do it. I mean, what is going to be your loss? So there's always going to be enough for us. Like Natasha did an awesome thing, right? One thing that I want to say, and thank you, and this is off topic. So Natasha is President Circle, and she's been President Circle for so long. Now she took me under her wing. And guess who's another President Circle?
Nina Gonzalez, baby.
So until you're able to master it, and then Byron said, and he mentioned that his people have been making 6-figure profits on flips. So these are his students, right?
Yes.
So it takes, for you to be a real leader, is when your student can also lead.
Become a leader. And you want a leader that wants you to win.
Yes.
I tell everybody about credit repair. If you got to pay $50 a month Every month for 3 years, their goal is not to fix your credit because they want you to continue paying that $50. You want a mentor that is going to help you grow, help you succeed, and really like your success is their success. And your success is my success. As you grow, that means I grew. That means I did something that I set out to do. And that means more people can own homes and we can all make a difference.
But one more time, how do we find you? Because there's a lot of imposters out there. So you got to let us know.
They're going to make fake Instagram pages and all of that.
They follow me every 2 days.
Oh, my goodness.
But go ahead. How do we get the real you?
Yeah, so definitely follow the business page at Mobile Home Elite Investors. That's on every platform, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And if you want to follow my personal journey, Byron S. Sellers on Instagram, even on Facebook, I'll go ahead and add you as a friend as well.
Awesome.
Well, many, many blessings to you and your beautiful family as you transition. And we desire nothing but success and blessings to you on this journey.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate you.
I know it's going to be great. So I look forward to watching you in the morning and seeing your journey and your next steps.
Oh, man. Listen, y'all got to come visit too. Come on down.
Say no more.
We'll get there. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on another edition of Stand on Your Business podcast.
See you next time.
Subscribe, share, and like.